United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pursuant to the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Public Laws of 1975, this meeting has been duly advertised in the Asbury Park Press, issue of March 28, 2017. All municipal clerks of the townships and boroughs within the Regional High School District have been duly notified, and the requirements of posting of notices have been met.
Madam President, just one item, just to note, executive session, in addition to the items that were related on the agenda, the board also discussed two items in number one, specifically the student discipline matter and impact case resistance.
Okay. Approval of the minutes. A motion? Right here. Question? Roll call?
Yes. Yes. Canario? Canario? Canario?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes, it is. Yes. Mrs. Schmankhauser?
Yes.
Mrs. Lavin?
Yes.
Mrs. Messinger? Yes. Mrs. Adair?
Yes.
Corolla? Yes. Yes.
Communications, they are maintained on the file in the office of the Board Secretary. Sam?
All right, good evening, everyone. This is one of the 3 evening functions where we bring our students in from across the 6 high schools to honor them for a real multitude of achievements. And one of the things I would just ask the audience, that we have 6 high schools, and there's a lot of students who've done some unbelievable things across those 6 high schools. And so if everyone has the patience to get through that and understand that this is, you have to do something extraordinary to be here. And we feel it incredibly important that 3 times a year we bring our whole school community to honor our students who distinguish our schools in so many ways. And one of the things that we wanted to do this evening to open that function up, it would be to discuss the Caring Awards through Monmouth County. And in a moment, I'm going to call the 6 recipients from Monmouth County. There's one from each high school through the Monmouth County Guidance Directors Association that win the Caring Award each year. And what that really symbolizes is that the high schools nominate one individual from each high school who've really gone above and beyond in their community, demonstrating compassion and empathy for others with the work that they do. And I think that it's important for us to, in our 4 years with our students here at the Freehold Regional High School District, to sort of inculcate that willingness to want to improve one's surrounding. But I think it's even more important that those are skills that our young folks take with them for years beyond our system. And I think that many of our students here are going to go through their lives and just improve the lives of others around them. And the Caring Awards, I think, really symbolize that in so many ways. So I'm going to call each of the 6 recipients up and ask them to stand here. And then one of the components of the competition was that they had to submit a video that just described the work that they did in their community. I had the good fortune on March 16th to attend that ceremony at the Monmouth County Guidance Directors Association, and I never failed to be truly humbled by some of the work that our students are doing in our community. So I'll call them up individually. I'll call them up as a group, and then we'll view the videos, and they're quick videos, individually. So from Colts Neck High School, Lauren Harrison. From Stillborough High School, we have Ethan Greenberg. From Freehold Township High School, we have Michael Stern. From Howell High School, we have Kiana Stockwell. From Madison High School, we have Elena Francis. And from Marlborough High School, we have Isha Patel. And Ms. Balcastro, if we can start with Lauren's video.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Colson High School Guidance Department, specifically Ms. Van Hoos and Ms. Kenny, and the Colson High School Administration for nominating me for this amazing award. For the past 3 years, I've been president of my class, and this year I'm the executive board president of the high school. I tutor kids in different subjects after school, including history and biology. I'm a part of 4 National Honor Societies. I volunteered over 250 hours at Central State Hospital, and I was involved in their junior humanitarian contest where I raised $3,000 for the pediatric sport. But my most important involvement is my hometown. My hometown is a club that I founded at Colson High School when I was a sophomore. My hometown is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and our mission statement is to assist the local community of Freehold Borough. We assist the social service agencies, including the food pantry, the soup kitchen, the homeless shelter, and the Freehold Borough YMCA. 3 years ago, my hometown organized an event called Empty Bowls, where we raised almost $5,000 for the Feed All God's Children Soup Kitchen and the Freehold Open Door Food Pantry. We also raised $1,815 in a school-sponsored bowling tournament where we donated the money to fund costs for the Freehold Clergy Emergency Men's Housing and Advocacy Program. My hometown also collaboratively raises funds and serves Thanksgiving dinner to citizens who may not be able to afford a proper holiday meal. My hometown offers tutoring and mentoring opportunities to assist children with their English homework and coordinate games at the local YMCA. Here because I've always believed that giving has a greater value than receiving. The amount of satisfaction after impacting someone's life or an entire community is absolutely immeasurable. Uniting and meeting individuals among diverse backgrounds throughout this entire process has taught me more about compassion, communication, and collaboration than anything you can learn in the classroom setting. And I'm unbelievably grateful for all of the amazing opportunities Colson High School has given me.
Hi all, I'm Ethan Greenberg, and I was nominated by Freehold Borough High School for the Caring Award. Before I start, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Ms. Davia for nominating me. She truly is a wonderful person, and I'm so lucky to have her as a guidance counselor. I volunteer in many different organizations. For example, I've planned a youth summit for the Society for the Prevention of Teen Suicide, started an LGBT group with friends in my high school called Students Advocating for Equality, or SAFE, and tutor every week in math and physics. One of my favorite activities, though, has been going to Sunrise Assisted Living and singing karaoke with the seniors. Instead of talking about it, I figured I might as well show you. So without further ado, here is senior karaoke.
name is Michael Stearns. I am honored to accept the 2017 Caring Award on behalf of Frio Township High School. I would like to start off by thanking my guidance counselor, Mr. Frona, my principal, Mrs. Higley, and the rest of the guidance department at FGHS. Since I was little, I always was mesmerized by ambulances and the people who work on them. Sophomore year, I had come to the realization that I, a 16-year-old, could be that person that I envied as a child. I began my journey of caring for the sick and injured by joining the English Channel Manalapan First Aid Squad as a cadet. In the beginning, I was what most people would consider a cadet. I held bags and equipment for the EMTs so they could treat their patients. As I became more comfortable with the crew, and vice versa, I was trusted with communicating with patients and taking their vitals. These small steps have improved my communication skills and understanding of how delicate emergency situations can be. After 3 months on the squad, I was unanimously elected to hold office as the cadet chief. In addition to responding to 911 calls, my role as cadet chief allowed me to oversee all cadet operations. Also, I educated incoming cadets on how to use the ambulance's equipment in emergency situations, as well as taking patient vitals. This experience was very rewarding, knowing I was preparing teams to be ready to help others in the community. During my junior year, I began my next chapter in helping others by obtaining my EMT certification. I spent my whole summer attending class at Jersey Shore University Medical Center and studying constantly, both at home and while on duty. This course gave me the knowledge and skills to assess and appropriately treat conditions ranging from simple fractures, stroke and chest pain, to critical trauma, cardiac arrest, and childbirth. In total, since my sophomore year, I have volunteered over 1,000 hours and have responded to over 400 medical emergencies. My time on the First Aid Squad has helped me find my passion for helping others. My drive to care for others will not stop after I graduate from high school. In the fall, I will be attending the University of Delaware as a nursing major to obtain my Bachelor's of Science in Nursing.
She has dedicated numerous amounts of hours with meetings, fundraisers, and she is really enthusiastic and dedicated in the fight to end cancer. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. Trouble might drag you down. You can love, you can always be found. No, you're not alone. I'm gonna make this place your home.
I'm Hugh Evans, CEO of Global Citizen. Kiana, congratulations on being recognised for your service in your community and beyond. Your hard work supporting the work of Global Citizen in our campaigns and recruiting others to be involved will have a lasting impact on those living in extreme poverty. You're a true global citizen. Thank you for everything you do.
name is Elena Francis, and I'm a 17-year-old senior at Manalapan High School. I've always loved acting ever since I was younger, but it wasn't until I was 11 years old where I realized that theater allowed me to have a voice not only on stage, but also for my community. I started going to an acting school called Actors Playground School of Theater in Freehold, New Jersey. Within a year, they asked me to be a part of their theater company called Playground Theater Project. Not to sound cliche, but my whole entire life changed from there on out. The Playground Theater Project is a social issue company that puts on assemblies and tours schools all over New Jersey to spread awareness about social issues such as bullying, violence, drugs and alcohol, suicide, and many other topics. What's cool about the Playground Theater Project is that we put on these shows that we wrote ourselves, and then we do a talkback session. And what we do is we basically talk to the kids that were in the audience. It's honestly truly an amazing experience every time I go to a different school and I meet all of these different students from all over New Jersey, and I just speak to them about what they've been dealing with and how they related to whatever character I was portraying. I've been a part of 4 different other shows within the company: The Gaggle, Bang Bang Your Dead, Lady Parts, and Lost Angels. The Gaggle was when I first started out, so I was really young when I first started doing that. And that was about bullying. Then I went to go on to do Bang Bang Your Dead, which is about a boy named Josh who kills 5 students at his school. The reason why this show meant so much to me is because I spoke for kids who were no longer able to speak for themselves. And then I portrayed a character in Lady Parts who deals with an eating disorder and also is a victim of an abusive relationship. In Lost Angels, it's a show about a group of 12 kids who are stuck in a lockdown. And as the show goes on, the characters open up to each other about whatever battle they're dealing with within themselves or outside of school. At least one kid in the audience connects to it in one way or another, and it's really awesome to also make the kids in the audience feel like they're not alone and they're not by themselves. And I also want to thank my entire family at Actors Playground for giving me the opportunity to not only do what I love every single time I go to a different school, but to also have a voice for my community and to hopefully incite change in things that I believe in. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Hello, my name is Isha Patel from Marlborough High School, and I have been blessed to be given the Monmouth County Caring Award. I believe this award was given to me due to my various involvement in community service activities throughout my high school career. In school, I am the president of the Asian Club and a member of peer leadership. Both organizations allow me to give back to my community. I have been able to participate in numerous fundraisers that raise money for charities such as the Ashley Lauren Foundation, MS for MS, and the Breast Cancer Foundation, as well as helping local families in need. Outside of school, I participated in an organization that allowed me to return to my homeland and assist the children of India. Through Uplift Humanity, I was able to spend 2 weeks in my home state of Gujarat to work with orphans and juvenile delinquents, empowering them to break the cycle of recidivism and achieve their full potential through education. Juvenile recidivism is the ongoing cycle of a minor committing a crime and going to jail. Upon release, the minors commit the same petty crimes again and are stuck in a vicious loop that prohibits them from achieving a successful life. The program I was a part of utilized different techniques to educate the underprivileged children in vocational English and life skills. These 2 facets alone help increase their chances of finding a sustainable career path. The goal is to ensure that these children successfully assimilate back into society and eventually leave the impoverished class. The orphans and juveniles we taught have so much potential and charisma, and it was an incredible opportunity to be able to teach them in the little time we had together. My only hope is that they take advantage of what they learned and prosper, because each and every one of them deserves a better life. Uplift Humanity allowed me to experience the opposite spectrum of life, and it has truly changed my perspective on the world. Once again, thank you to Mr. D'Ambrosio, Mr. Carino, and Mr. Boylan for nominating me for this award. My experience with the programs I've worked with shaped me into a versatile individual who is always willing to lend a helping hand. I hope to continue my acts of care and give back to my community as I move forward.
I call up Dr. Angelosi from Manalapan High School.
Good evening. I would first like to thank the Board of Education and the Central Office Administration for honoring our schools and our students this evening. Additionally, I would like to congratulate all of the other district medal recipients. And I want to say that those Caring Award recipients, the videos and the work they're doing was awesome. So now let's get started. I would first like to recognize Cord Chen, Justin Musella, Rebecca Granovsky, and Raymond Costa for being recognized as National Merit Scholarship finalists. Raymond will not be with us this evening. And stay up here for one moment. Out of 1.6 million entrants in the National Merit Scholarship Program, these students are in a pool of approximately 15,000 finalists. The finalists were chosen by fulfilling several requirements that included a detailed scholarship application and presenting a record of very high academic performance. I'm going to ask everyone to sit down for me, except for Court. Court, please stay up here for a moment. Court is also being recognized tonight for his perfect score in the American Mathematics competition. Furthermore, Court has not attended one district awards evening until tonight, and he is a senior. He's been invited to quite a few, so I'm making him stand up here. Court got a perfect score on his SATs the first and only time he took them. He took first place in the Chemistry Olympiad last year, and he is a National AP Scholar. Those are only a few of his many accolades, and here's the kicker. He's currently deciding between Caltech and Princeton University. He's going to get used to this crowd because if I was a betting man, he's going to be speaking at graduation. Okay. Now for the National Chemistry Olympiad competition this year. Or won it last year. Will Kang and Talab Bimnatwala, come on down. Although this is not a team competition, the Manalapan High School once again performed exceedingly well in the Monmouth County portion of the National Chemistry Olympiad. We had 3 of the top 4 finishers. If there was a team championship, we would have won it. These 2 students, Will Kang and Talab Bimnatwala, finished first and second place respectively, and we are competing against the other schools in the county, which include places like High Tech High School, Allied, Biotech, not to mention the other schools within the Freehold Regional High School District. So it's quite a stacked competition in Monmouth County. Congratulations. Recently, we had 5 students earn perfect 800 scores in mathematics on their SATs. Those students are David Lau, Lauren Tucker, Mark Chen, Noel Matthew, and Michael Yakubov. All 5 made it. Right here, where Mr. Sands shake hands and down the line. Next up, I have two students, Ariel Rakovitsky and Spencer Goldberg. Head down this way. They applied for and were accepted into the New Jersey Scholars Program. This is a tuition-free 5-week seminar program for students. Schools are allowed only 2 applicants, and a total of 39 students statewide were selected. The program creates an intense, interdisciplinary, intellectual experience as the scholars will participate in lectures and small group seminars where they will actively engage with multiple disciplines and content areas. They will also have, this is a summer program by the way, extensive reading assignments and pursue research at world-class libraries and museums. Congratulations. Ariel, stay down here for 1 moment, please. I found out this morning that Ariel Rakovitsky was elected to serve as Junior States of America Mid-Atlantic State Governor for the 2017-2018 school year. This is an elected position across the entire Mid-Atlantic region. It is a huge honor for Ariel, for the Manalapan chapter of JSA, and for Manalapan High School as a whole. And I saw Mr. Sampson retweet it out within about 20 seconds. So I guess it's a big honor for the district as well. So congratulations. I would like to ask Victoria Giordino to come down. Victoria, annually, our district hosts and participates in the Team Challenge competition, highlighting student-driven solutions to real-world ethical dilemmas. Teams are comprised of 10 students and are tasked with developing a presentation, a multifaceted presentation. This year's topic was the internet and the ethical dilemmas that it poses. Manalapan High School's team examined the idea of ethical dating and social media. Of the 70 students involved in this initiative, Victoria was one of 2 recognized by the Greater Monmouth County Chamber of Commerce as the recipient of their scholarship. Congratulations. Program over to Mr. Hine, Manalapan High School Supervisor for Curricular Activities.
Thank you, Dr. Angelosi. Good evening, and congratulations to all of our medal recipients gathered here tonight. I'm always impressed by the caliber of students in the Freehold Regional District. To begin, I'd like to recognize Manalapan High School's members of the All Shore Symphonic Band. In order to be so honored, students were required to prepare an audition solo, show proficiency in 4 scales, and have the ability to sight read music. Over 200 of the best musicians from Monmouth and Ocean counties tried out for the All Shore Symphonic Band, with just under 100 being selected. As I call your name, please come on down to the front to receive your medals. Melissa Smith on clarinet. Jalen Smith on clarinet. Justin Bowling on clarinet. Zachary Sloan on tenor saxophone. Carlos Orta on trumpet. Antonio Mora on percussion. To put the level of competition within the Freehold Regional District into perspective, of the 49 schools in the Shore Conference, Manalapan High School placed the 4th highest number of students on the All Shore Symphonic Band, with the 2nd and 3rd place spots held by our 2 sister schools. Overall, an excellent showing, not only for our school, but also for our district. Congratulations. This past winter, our wrestling team enjoyed one of its best seasons in many years, finishing with an overall record of 27-5 and winning the NJSIAA District 21 Wrestling Championships, held annually at Manalapan High School. I'd like to call up coaches Jim Soma and Frank O'Shea at this time. also one of our coaches. Crucial to this team title were the performances of 5 Manalapan High School wrestlers who won their weight classes at the 21 championship. When I read your name, please come on down. Sophomore, Paul Santamarco. 106 pounds, Paul compiled an impressive record of 35-5 this season, winning the Nottingham and Walter Woods tournaments and District 21 championship in the process. He ended the season with a 5th place finish at Regions, 1 win away from bids to state championships in Atlantic City. Congratulations. Sophomore, Kareem Guida. Wrestling at 120 pounds, Kareem compiled a record of 28-14 this season, winning the District 21 championships and finishing the season with a 6th place finish at Regions. Congratulations. Senior Matt Castillo. 145 pounds, Matt won his weight class at the District 21 championships, finishing the season with a record of 25-13. Next year, he will continue his career at Castleton University. Senior, Ronnie Gator. Wrestling at 152 pounds, Ronnie amassed a record of 35-6, winning the Nottingham and Walter Woods tournaments prior to winning the District 21 tournament. He placed 2nd in Regions and was a top 12 finisher at the state tournament in Atlantic City. Ronnie will be wrestling next year at Virginia Tech. And last but certainly not least, Jake Staglinsky. Wrestling at 170 pounds, Jake finished the season with a record of 35-8, winning the Nottingham tournament before winning District 21. He finished 2nd in the Regions and was a top 16 finisher at the state tournament. Jake will continue his wrestling career next year at West Virginia University. Congratulations. Congratulations, fellas. Thank you so much. This year, our varsity competition cheer team had an extremely successful season, winning 1st place at the Spirit Brands National Championship held in Wildwood, New Jersey on March 11th. The team had competed in 5 local competitions and the New Jersey Cheer Association state competition prior to this in order to prepare for this major win. Since August, our cheer team has worked diligently practicing several times per week to perfect their stunting and tumbling and other technical aspects of their routine. This was all in addition to cheering on our student athletes in football and basketball games throughout the regular school year. The coach said of this team, their ability to handle the competitive schedule in conjunction with their academic and athletic responsibilities was exemplary. In addition to their skills and practice time, their drive and camaraderie led them to victory and were essential in their ultimate success. I'd like to call down our head cheerleading coach, Ms. Lisa Rizzo-Thompson. And after you call your names, ladies, please come on down to the front. Our captains, Brooke Wilson, Sydney Hess, Jackie Tosa, Angelina Orlando, Amanda Martin, Samantha Katari, Taylor Clayton, Haley Lewis, Cole Chandler, Taylor Fountain, Layla Reno, Jill McKinnon, Jessica Seminario, Jenna Strauss, and Alexia DRC. Congratulations once again with our hardware national championship.
Simon.
I'm going to go without this. Can you guys hear me in the back? No? I'd rather have the feedback. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Board of Education, Superintendent Sampson. Congratulations to all recipients tonight and to my colleagues in the other building, students. This is always an extremely impressive night. And we at Colts Neck High School are also proud of all of our recipients. And so let's get this show on the road. I'd like to start though with a recognition that is going to also the other schools are going to have some students recognized later. I'd like to call Matthew Goldman to the front. Matthew, come on up. So juniors from various Freehold Regional High School schools have been selected for the prestigious Governor's School Summer Program. I'll tell you a little bit about that. The Governor's School of Engineering and Technology is held at Rutgers University School of Engineering. A 4-week program where students are immersed in engineering and technology with others who share their interests. Scholars will be taking core academic classes, completing an intensive research and/or design project in groups of 3 to 5 students, going on site visits to local corporations, and meeting equally talented peers and professionals from across the state. That is the Governor's School program that Matthew has been accepted to, so congratulations, Matthew. The other Governor's School program, which we have other recipients for engineering, but the other program is the Governor's School in the Sciences. That's held at Drew University. That's a 3-week program which broadens the scholar's appreciation and knowledge of science through exposure to a range of scientific topics and scientists. The program introduces students to a hands-on research experience in a student's area of interest through a series of courses, laboratories, projects, lectures, and other activities centered on math and science. Students benefit from working with professors in Drew University's strong undergraduate science program, and they learn about possible career paths from the faculty and from some of New Jersey's leading industrial, governmental, and academic representatives. So you'll hear who those students are from the other schools as those principals get to proudly introduce them. The next I would like to call up is Dylan Mullins. Dylan, are you here tonight? Come on up, Dylan. Many of you are familiar with the organization SAD. SAD stands for Students Against Destructive Decisions, and they've evolved over the years. It is an organization with a goal to empower young people to successfully confront the risks and pressures that challenge them throughout their daily lives. According to their website, SAD accomplishes its goals by creating, equipping, and sustaining a network of student-run chapters in schools and communities focused on peer-to-peer education. Now, the reason that Dylan is being recognized up here is that Dylan was selected as the SAD National Student of the Year for 2017-18. SAD President and CEO Dawn Texera wrote in a letter announcing his appointment, quote, "Your talents and abilities, coupled with your leadership and passion, make you perfectly qualified to hold this important post. I look forward to working with you to deliver SAD's message across the country." Dylan will begin to serve in his position at the SAD National Conference in June. As SAD National Student of the Year, he will hold a seat on the National Board of Directors, will chair the National Student Leadership Council, and will also serve as their main SAD spokesperson at various conferences and media events. He will also be eligible for leadership experience at the Department of Transportation, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration in Washington, D.C., and receive a Student of the Year scholarship for $1,000 at the SAD National Conference. Dylan remains currently undecided between the University of Virginia and Northeastern for the fall semester. Congratulations, Dylan. I'd like to call the following 3 students to the front, please. If I can have Patrick Whalen, Gregory Penzak Jr., and Matthew Filosa to the front. These gentlemen have earned something that's near and dear to my heart. I know people who have been here before get sick of hearing me tell my story here, but I'm going to tell it anyway. These gentlemen have all earned their rank of Eagle Scout. I myself am one of 5 brothers who've earned Eagle. All 4 of my sons have earned the rank of Eagle Scout, so I can attest to the accomplishment, how much work goes into it. Let me just tell you very briefly, for those of you who are not familiar. The fact that a boy is an Eagle Scout has always carried with it a special significance, not only in scouting, but also as he enters higher education, business or industry, and community service. Not sure if that's me, but the award is a performance-based achievement whose standards have been well maintained over the years. Not every boy who joins a Boy Scout troop earns the rank of Eagle Scout. In fact, a little less than 5% actually do so. Nevertheless, the goals of scouting, citizenship training, character development, and personal fitness remain important for all scouts, whether or not they attain the Eagle Scout rank. To give you a perspective on the amount of work it requires, to earn the Eagle Scout rank, a Boy Scout must fulfill all the requirements in the areas of leadership, service, and outdoor skills. A number of specific skills are required to advance through the ranks. A Boy Scout must pass specific tests that are organized by requirements and merit badges. Merit badges signify the mastery of certain outdoor skills, as well as helping boys increase their skill in an area of personal interest. Of 130 plus merit badges available, a total of 21 must be earned to qualify, with 13 badges specifically required. And then while a Life Scout, a Scout must plan and develop a service project to benefit any religious institution, school, or community. As a demonstration of leadership, the Scout must plan the work, organize the personnel needed, and direct the project to its completion. Patrick Whalen refinished the bleachers and planted 8 trees at Bucks Mills baseball field. To accomplish his goal, he led a group of 12 volunteers. His team sanded, removed rust, and put a new coat of paint on the bleachers. They also planted the trees so parents and friends could watch Little League games in the shade for years to come. Patrick received donations from a local paint store, fundraised $280 for the purchase of the trees. Congratulations to Patrick, who is currently undecided between James Madison, Penn State, and TCNJ for the fall. Gregory Penzak Jr. Greg's Eagle Scout project was to replace and relocate the grills at Bucks Mill Park in Colts Neck. The existing grills had become unusable as they began to succumb to rust, were located too close to the pavilion at Bucks Mill to be safely used. The project took about 2 days in total, where Greg led 15 volunteers. This group of volunteers included friends, family, and fellow scouts, raised about $1,200 of the overall cost of $2,100 for the project. Greg will be attending Brookdale Community College in the fall. Congratulations, Greg. And Matthew Colosa, who is a junior, built an information sign for the U.S. Coast Guard at Station Shark River in Avon. It is dedicated to remembering the history of the service branch and the rescue cases of the station. The sign is meant to honor the incredible sacrifice of the brave men and women of the U.S. Coast Guard and their efforts to keep our country safe. Congratulations, Matthew. I'd like to call Francesca Ephraim to the front, please. Francesca, come on. This is another pretty big accomplishment. Francesca was recognized recently. She's a member of our Free the Children Club, was recognized as one of 18 winners for the EF Tours Global Citizen Scholarship Award for 2017. Over 800 applicants from around the United States and Canada, including over 150 plus from New Jersey alone, applied for this scholarship. As a recipient, she will be traveling free of charge to Italy with 17 other students to become part of a global movement toward creating awareness on climate change and global hunger. Congratulations. On the theme of national awards, I'd like to ask Allie McGowan and Ben Long to the front. I don't think Allie's here, but Ben is. Come on down, Ben. The kicker on this one is really at the end to understand the recognition here. This award is the Police Athletic League Male and Female Youth of the Year Award. This award is presented annually to honor the outstanding youth volunteers who have made extra significant contributions to their police athletic league chapter in their community during the previous year. All PAL chapters are asked to select deserving candidates for consideration. To earn this award, individuals must meet certain criteria, excel in areas such as academics and community involvement. Along with their achievements, they must be recognized as model citizens and exemplary individuals in school, PAL, and their community. For the past 6 years, both Ali and Ben have demonstrated their commitment by helping others by leading through action, demonstrating commitment, dedication, determination, and tremendous compassion to their fellow man. They both have served over 1,000 hours of community service during this time, bettering the lives of others. They are a true example of selflessness. Some of the exemplary ways these two fine youth have served others are preparing food and feeding the homeless weekly, raking leaves, shoveling the snow in the senior citizen community, working with students with special needs, assisting the town with community cleanups, delivering presents to sick children on Christmas morning, and helping younger students become future leaders at youth leadership conferences. And just a side note, in the history of the Police Athletic League, never before have 2 youth from the same chapter won this prestigious national award in the same year. So congratulations. My last piece here before turning it over to Mr. Arneo, I have 40 students that I'm gonna rattle off the names and just ask you because they deserve to have their names called, but I'm gonna ask you to hold your applause till I'm done reading them, and believe me, I can read these pretty fast. I'm gonna ask you guys, don't wait for your name to be called, you guys just start making your way down and you'll know why they're being called up here in just a moment. Carmela Apostle, Ashley Caulfield, Nicole Dado, Lauren Gleason, Elizabeth Heeb, Sarah Heeb, Grace Hugel, Amy McGee, Colleen McGovern, Mary Catherine McNamara, Ariana Mascara, Krista Panarello, Elizabeth Polico, Lindsay Press, Jamie Preston Giacomo, got that one right, Layla Rosenthal, Emily Safai, Julia Safai, Taylor Shandall, Olivia Moldavsky, Edberta Albadejo, Lucas Albadejo, Owen Vaquero, Anthony Ballone, William Dean, Matthew Deisler, Giovanni DeMuth, David Dong, Tyler Higley, Richard Kemble, Owen Kush, Kyle McGilligan, James McNamara, Matthew Vitola, Gregory Penzak, Louis Bergola, Nicholas Rondinella, Robert Shandall, Harry Weber, and Michael Whitehead. Told you I'd be quick. All right. Now, let me tell you why they're up here. On February 11th, 2017, 40 of our CNHS NJROTC cadets traveled to North Rockland High School in Fields, New York, to compete in the 2017 NJROTC Area 4, which covers the entire Northeast, Academic, Athletic, and Drill Championship. At the competition, every cadet must stand for personnel inspection, then break into individual competitive teams in academics, athletics, and drill events. 15 cadets have 1 hour to take a multiple-choice 100-question test on naval science and current event topics. 16 cadets, 8 males and 8 females, participate in push-ups and curl-ups, performing their max number of exercise repetitions to a recorded cadence of up, down for like 3 minutes. It's ridiculous. 28 of the 40 cadets must then compete in 5 separate drill events. CNHS NJROTC captured first place in athletics and drill, second place in academics, which earned CNHS first place overall for the Area 4 competition and a place at the national competition in Pensacola, Florida. Congratulations. Before you guys take a seat, I just want to make sure that I add to that. I had the pleasure of joining them in Pensacola at the national competition. They finished second in the nation overall in the athletics competition, 10th overall in the nation in the overall competition, which included all of those same, but competing against the best of the best nationally. There are over 800 ROTC units in the entire United States, and we are the 10th ranked of the entire U.S. So I think that's great. Major Penzak, I'm glad you're here as well to recognize that just this morning we found out that for the second consecutive year we were named the most outstanding unit in Area 4. Last year we were number 2 nationally as the most outstanding unit. And by God, this year, if we're not number one, heads are going to roll, right? Congratulations, RFGC. Accolades in athletics and extracurriculars to our Sika, Mr. Arnett.
I would first like to thank Central Office Administration and Board of Education for giving us all the opportunity to recognize the athletic and academic achievements of our students tonight. I would also like to congratulate the administration, coaches, parents, and students from our fellow district schools. You should all be very proud of your accomplishments. Like Manalapan High School, Colts Neck High School also has a member of the All Shore Symphonic Band. That is freshman Alexandra Greco. Is Alexandra here? In addition to the All Shore Symphonic Band, All Shore also has a jazz component. The students must audition with similar rigor to that of the All Shore Symphonic Band. Colts Neck High School has 3 students that are part of the All Shore Jazz Ensemble. They are freshman Sam Broad, and senior Joey Schilla. At this time, I would like to call down Stephen Kramer, Joey King, and Mike Janucci. This was an outstanding year for Colts Neck High School wrestling. The varsity team finished with a final mark of 30 wins and 3 losses, the best in school history, and sent a record 9 wrestlers to the Region 6 tournaments. 3 of those 9 wrestlers were District 21 champions. Stephen, the only senior, will be continuing his studies at Virginia Tech University in the fall. Joey King is a junior, and Mike Janucci is a sophomore, so they'll be back at Colts Neck for the winter season. In wrestling, congratulations to Stephen Kramer, Joey King, and Mike Janucci on earning the title of District 21 champion. Colleen Megerly. Is Colleen here? Colleen placed first in the 1600 meter competition at the Central Jersey Group 3 meet. Knowing that she would still have to run the 3200 meters at 4x400, she conserved some energy by allowing other runners to lead for the first half mile. She then demolished the field and closed in 68 seconds to win the race going away. Only a sophomore, Colleen also qualified to run at the Indoor Nationals meet in New York City. Congratulations to Colleen on her Central Jersey Group 3 title. At this time, I would like to call down the Colts Neck Winter Boys Track Team. Any member of that team? Here they are. They also, a lot of these guys just competed. Coach Jim Slentz is here as well. They just competed at CBA, so some of them might not be here, but I'll call their names. Lucas Corbett, Kyle Stavala, Jimmy Powell, Jordan Brannon, Matt Schaefer, Anthony Russo, Alex Austin, Rob Shandall, Brad Dansquono, Kevin Berry, Justin Gibsey, Ryan Tompkins, Dan Sheptick, John Miller, John Pezzolante, Tyler Higley, Trent Janarone, and Gavin McDonald. The Colts Neck Boys Winter Track Team won their 3rd straight Central Jersey Group 3 team title and their 2nd straight overall Group 3 title. During the pursuit of this season's team titles, there were many individual champions. Ryan Tompkins won the high jump at 4 championship meets, the Monmouth County Championship, Short Conference, Central Jersey Group 3, and overall Group 3. His season's best jump was 6 feet 4 inches. His personal best is 6 feet 6 inches. Jordan Brannon won 5 championship distance races. He placed first in the 1600 at the Monmouth County Championships, Central Jersey Group 3, and overall Group 3 meets. He placed first in the 3200 at the Central Jersey Group 3 and Meet of Champions. Jordan also placed 6th in the Indoor Nationals 2-mile event, earning the title of All-American. His fastest 3200 meter time was 9 minutes, 1 6/10 seconds. That's fast. The 4x1 mile relay of Matt Schaefer, Anthony Russo, Kevin Berry, and Jordan Brennan placed second in the Indoor Nationals meet, also earning all 4 of them All-American honors. There are 9 seniors that are part of this group. Jordan Brennan will be going to Iona College, Kevin Berry, Princeton University, Anthony Russo, the University of Pennsylvania, Ryan Tompkins, Villanova, Alex Austin, Virginia Tech, Dan Sheptick, Rutgers, John Miller, Arizona State, Brad D'Antuono will be at the U.S. Navy, Gavin McDonald is undecided. Congratulations once again to the Colts Neck High School boys. That concludes Colts Neck High School's portion music.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming this evening. I too would like to thank our superintendent, Mr. Sampson, and the Board of Education for all their support at Howell High School. I first wanted to congratulate Kiana. We were happy to see her win the Caring Award, and at the ceremony this year, once again see the video tonight, so congratulations to Kiana. So as 2 of my colleagues already mentioned about the Governor's School, I'm not going to go into full detail, but we are fortunate that we had 2 recipients that are going to be heading to Governor's School this summer, and we are so excited about that. It's the first time that we've had a recipient in almost a decade, and to have 2, I don't know, I've been at Howell High School for 12 years, I don't recall if we've ever had 2 in the 12 years that I've been there. I was so excited about it that actually I called both parents right when we found out, and I know it was the first time either of these parents ever received a phone call from a principal. So they were quite nervous, and I started the call with everything's okay, but it's really great news for Howell High School. So our first student also received a perfect score of 800 on the SATs in math, and he is heading to the Governor's School of Engineering and Technology at Rutgers, as one of my colleagues mentioned, for engineering, and that is Mr. Rowan Malik. Next, we have another member going to Governor's School. They will be heading to the Governor's School of Sciences, which is held at Drew University, and that is Ms. Sarah Riccari. Next athlete, I do not believe is here. She did have a meet today and is getting ready to go to UPenn for the Penn Relays on Thursday. That's also where she is going to college, the University of Pennsylvania. This young lady has been to she is here, excellent. Okay, I didn't see her, I still don't see her, but there she is. Okay, great, she was hiding from me. I'm glad she's here. So Neve is probably one of the most decorated athletes that we have ever had at Howell High School. She is a senior, and as I said, she's heading to UPenn. I'm going to read off just her winter accolades. She does have the spring to come. She was the Monmouth County champ in the 1 mile. She was the short conference champ in the 1 mile and the 2 mile. She was first team all short this year. She ran her best mile time of under 5 minutes this year. She was the South Jersey Group 4 state champion in the 1 mile, where she had the meet record. She also won it in the 2 mile as well. That's the same day. She was also the Group 4 state champion in the 2 mile, and then she went on to win the Meet of Champions in the 2 mile, where she basically lapped the person who took second place. She is the #1 female runner in the state of New Jersey overall for the 2 mile. She was also the short conference
High School Athlete of the Year, and she was first team All-State, Ms. Neve Hayes. She does have the spring to come, so we expect to have her back here in the spring so that we can recognize her once again. I'm going to turn the microphone over to Mr. Meehan, our Supervisor of Extracurricular Activities.
Good evening. I'm going to switch gears. We're going to go over to Fall Shore Symphonic Band. I'm going to call your names down. Please come up to the podium and take your medals. Melissa Paramonti, Mary Kay Donaway, Dina Brown, Samantha Chavarro, Simone Baer, Brianna Wyman, Olivia Ferraro, Lorenzo Bador, Region 2 Band, Katie Ferraro, Nicholas Salerno, Rohan Malik, Joe Dwyer, First Chair, Region 2 Band, All-State Band, Dave Montgomery, Joseph Ramirez, Ryan Marquez, Dan Snow, First Chair, Region 2 Band, All-State Band, Joseph Perez, and Michael Fiorillo. Megan Smith. Congratulations, guys. We have 18 of our students win the All Shore Symphonic Band. Nice job. At this time, I'd like to ask Coach Wetzel to join me at the podium. And Coach Barry. Coach Wetzel and Coach Barry are our bowling coaches for boys and girls. Our girls bowling team this year ended up winning the Central Jersey Group 4 State Championship. At this time, I'd like to call them all up and join us at the podium. So I'm going to read off all the names, but here, please come up. Samantha Hayes, Olivia Bosco, Gianna Dedew, Amanda Dorner, Jennifer Creer, Madison Gibson, Zoe Mandava, Danielle Mayon, Amanda Murrell, Lauren Lillo, and Alexis Friend. Congratulations. At this time, could Coach Deanna Marcus please join us? Coach Markovich had another successful season with our girls cheer team. Tremendous amount of success. This year they were the NJCDCA state competition. They were large all music division state champs. They were Group 4 all music state champs. At a merit cheer, they were large all music division national champions. A merit cheer High Point Award for highest score of all levels, all music divisions, and a merit cheer Best Choreography Award. At this time, I'd like to call all our girls up to the podium. Danielle DeGran, Erica Savage, Emily Burke, Morgan Diaz, Madison Lopez, Deanna McGee, Natalie McGee, Kate Grizzly, Amanda Bailey, Olga Rasmus, Morgan Gonzalez, Kayla Kowalski, Lexi Kuka, Catherine Perry, Angelina Pesci, Allison Pinker, Hannah Rosenberg, Hannah Abatamarco, Juliana Barron, Gianna Cataldo, Rachel Hannerhan, Kylie McGowan, Jessica McGee, Megan Mylod, Brianna Palmieri, Julia Schneider, and Shelby Tremblay. Congratulations, Coach. Congratulations, ladies. March to your team. We have one more team I'd like to bring up. This time I'd like to ask Coach Dagliano and staff to We got a lot to say about the wrestling team here, folks, but I have much to say about the coaches as well. I'd like to state Coach Gilder was our assistant wrestling coach this year for the district. Outstanding job, Coach. Thank you. It's a great addition to the team. Coach Gagliano, tremendous season this year. He led the team to a 30-1 record. They were A North champs for the 12th year in a row. They were short conference champions, District 22 champions, Group 5 champions overall in the state. They were voted #1 team in Monmouth County, #1 team in the short conference, and they finished 5th overall in the state of New Jersey. Coach Gagliano was also voted NJ.com Star Ledger Coach of the Year. He was also voted NJSIAA Coach of the Year for the state of New Jersey. Congratulations. The wrestlers here tonight, we're going to honor for their state championship win as a team, and then I'm also going to announce some of the individual awards that these young men had racked up throughout the season. Like I said, tremendous season they had. I'm going to start out. We're going to go for our weight classes, and then we're going to ask at the end. Please join us at the podium now. Zach McConville, Ethan Lipson, Eli Orford, Alex Brandel, Eric Magaro, Pierce Gomez, CJ Miller, Nick Sokowski, John Friedman, Austin Friedman, Anthony Cosimano, Jake Pace, Pat Anderson, Chris DeMarco, Joe Sardina, Rashawn Hansford, Mike Benitos, Danny Schick, Janai Crippen, Sean McGuire, Scott Prendergrass, John Finnemore, Jacob Wirtz. To continue with the list, we have Jesse Lipson, Region 6 place winner. Evan Richard, Region 6 place winner. Xavier Kelly, Region 6 place winner, NJSIA qualifier. Jake Nash, District 22 champion, Region 6 place winner. Luke Rader, District 22 champion, Region 6 4th place, NJSIA qualifier. Dan Esposito, District 22 champion, Region 6 runner-up, NJSA top 16. Christian Murphy, District 22 champion, Region 6, third place, and NJSA top 16. Shane Reitzma, District 22 champion, Region 6 champion, NJSA top 12 finishers. Darby Dietrich, District 22 champion, Region 6 champion, overall 7th place finish NJSA. Kyle Slendorn, District 22 champion, Region 6 champion, finished 2nd overall NJSA tournament. Last but not least, Eric Cossi, District 22 champion, Region 6 champion, finished 1st place NJSA, 220 pounds. Heck of a job. He's the 3rd wrestler in Howell history, finished 1st place down in the tournament in Atlantic City. Congratulations, Eric. Wrestling, we continue his career next year at West Point. Congratulations.
I'd like to call up Freehold High School.
Okay, you guys. Yeah, why is it here? It's just here. I damn it. Well, I kind of like to go. Don't say like you. I just wish I was a
I love the snark.
I got rid
Good evening, everyone. And again, like I mentioned before, it's really something to sit here and listen to the variety of talents that the students who are being recognized tonight have. For Freehold High School, you've heard before about the criteria for the All Shore Jazz Band. We have 2 students who were accepted into the All Shore Jazz Band, Joshua and we also had several students accepted into the Old Shore Symphonic Band. Nathan Glickman, Chiara Abrio, Thomas Lee, Joshua Rosenberg, and Caitlin Callahan.
Yeah! Woo, great!
You've heard this evening about the criteria for Eagle Scouts. The counterpart to that in Girl Scouts is the Gold Award. And we do have one of our students, Nicole Ray. I had an opportunity to talk to Nicole about her project, and it's a really good story. The project was entitled Never Forget, Honoring Our Veterans. Her uncle was a Vietnam vet, and for years, around Memorial Day time, he would go to St. Rose Cemetery and he would put flags on all of the graves of all veterans. And about 8 years ago, he took ill, and he could no longer do that. So his family picked up the challenge, and they would go out there every Memorial Day to there's several sections at St. Rose Cemetery. There's a very old section, and then there's a newer section, and then there's the newest of the new. So in the first two sections. And when Nicole went out there, she noticed that a lot of the graves didn't have the grave markers, and it was becoming harder and harder to recognize which of the grave sites were those of veterans. So she took it upon herself. She raised over $5,000 through personal contributions, corporate contributions, and turning back the profits that she made from selling Girl Scout cookies and not taking those prize incentives. And she now has marked those grave sites with markers of the two oldest sections of the St. Rose Cemetery. What was particularly interesting is that she found a Medal of Honor winner from the Civil War in the oldest of the sections of the St. Rose Cemetery. So that's a story within a story. So congratulations, Nicole. Dr. Angelosi mentioned that Manalapan High School had a Team Challenge Scholarship winner, and he gave you a little bit of background about that. And he also mentioned that there were two from the regional district, and Freehold High School proudly had the second of the two. And I'd like to ask Lindsay Bertone to come down, please. Lindsay has been an active member of Team Challenge for 4 years, and the scholarship does take into account a student's public service and community service involvement, high school activity, as well as ethics and morals. And Lindsay is president of our student government. She also received a scholarship from DECA, and she will leave, along with 14 other students from Freehold High School, on Thursday for the national conference in Anaheim, California. So very deserving of the Greater Monmouth Chamber of Commerce Scholarship. Congratulations. Now for our Supervisor of Extracurricular Activities, Mr. Longo.
Thank you, everyone. I'd first like to thank the Board of Ed and Mr. Sampson for having us here for this tremendous evening. And also, congratulations to all the medal recipients and your families. You should be very proud of your tremendous accomplishments. I would like to stand up here and call down about 30 wrestlers, but unfortunately I cannot. I can only call down one, and that is our Super Frosh, Nico Messina. Come on down. Was our 106-pounder this past season for wrestling. Nico led our team in wins with a record of 34 wins and 4 losses. Nico also took third in the Cup Classic. He was the Homedale Holiday Tournament champion. He was our District 23 champion. He was a Region 6 runner-up, which also, by being a Region 6 runner-up, made him our first state tournament qualifier since 2010. All of this as a freshman. Nico, we look forward to seeing you grow. You're a fine young man, and hopefully we can just keep working hard over the next 3 years and get you on that podium in Atlantic City. Congratulations. And that wraps it up for Freehold High School. Thank you, and have a great night.
Good evening. I'd also like to congratulate all our athletes and academic successes, and thank you to the board for having this evening. First of all, we also have a student to recognize for the honor of being accepted to Governor's School for Engineering and Technology, and that's for Ruth Kapoor. I'd like to introduce Mr. Prasadi, our senior, who will recognize additional Freehold Township recipients.
I just want to take a chance to again congratulate everybody, especially the Caring Award winners. Michael, Freehold Township recipient, has stuck around as the crowd has thinned out considerably. You are to be commended, Michael, and the other Caring Award recipients. That is amazing work. It's inspiring. Freehold Township had 20 members of our band honored in various ways, all-shore and all-state band so far this year. If you're a member of Freehold Township Band and you've been honored in such a way you're here, please make your way up to the front. I'm going to read the names and their accomplishments at this time. We had Abigail Dupre, all-shore symphonic flute; Max Torres, all-shore symphonic clarinet; Aislinn Guinea, all-shore symphonic clarinet; Michael Bonney, all-shore symphonic clarinet and all-shore jazz band on the trombone; William Armando, all-shore symphonic clarinet; Brian Gibbons, all-shore symphonic clarinet; Carolyn Carmody, all-shore symphonic bass clarinet; Matthew Gallego, all-shore symphonic trumpet, #1 in the short; all-shore jazz band, #1 jazz trumpet in the short, and all-state band on trumpet. Tara Cobb was all-shore symphonic trumpet; Chris Garrett, all-shore symphonic horn; Caitlin Potter, all-shore symphonic horn; Matthew Chernikoff, all-shore symphonic trombone and all-shore jazz band, with the #1 tenor trombone in the short; Julia Feldman, all-shore symphonic trombone; Gianna Garrett, all-shore symphonic euphonium; Andrew DePass, who was just finishing up a lacrosse game actually, with all-shore symphonic tuba and all-shore jazz band, with the #1 jazz trumpet in the short; Kevin Arizapana, all-shore jazz band on the trumpet; Eugene Binkowski, all-shore jazz band on the trumpet; Holly Ann Tobin, all-shore symphonic mallets; Dominic Scalia, all-shore band, #1 clarinet in New Jersey; and Amabel Kim, all-state orchestra on the violins. In forensics, we had 2 members of our team win state championships. Asha Prabha, who is here, come on down, is the state champion in declamation speaking. Jake LaFrance, not here, but he was our state champion. Oh, he is here. I'm sorry, Jake. Our state champion in domestic extemporaneous speaking. Athletically, we also had a handful of accomplishments, both individually and as a team during the winter, and actually the end of the fall, which I'll explain in a second. Eric Forty is our District 24 wrestling champion at 195 pounds. Eric is not here this evening. Ice hockey, Julian Kislin will be continuing his career in 2 years actually in Northeastern, his first team all-shore and first team all-county. He's going to be playing in the USHL next year. Nick Ackerman, who I believe is here, was our short conference champion in winter track and field at 3,200 meters. And I mentioned that we are carrying over somebody from the fall. Tyler Shulman was first team all-shore in football. That did not come out until after we already had our fall season student recognition, so we wanted to recognize Tyler this evening. We have 4 teams win division championships. One of those teams was our girls bowling team. It was the first time in school history. The banner is on its way, ladies. Moreover, the girls were Central Jersey Section 3 state champions. The members of the girls state champion bowling team, girls, you can come up if you are here. I'm going to read all the names. Sarah Adley, Claire Schaefer, Diana Lasque, Caitlin Negron, Sarah Orensky, Kristen Pagliaro, Victoria Paranello, Gianna Frisi, Caitlin Tamai, and Danielle Taylor. Congratulations to the team. Her bowling career at the University of Wilmington. I didn't want to say the wrong town in Delaware. Going to the University of Wilmington, she signed her letter and we'll be honoring her at our next Sunday. Again, thank you everybody for coming. Congratulations.
First, I'd like to thank the Board of Education and Mr. Sampson for providing us this evening tonight to recognize our students. And I'd also like to congratulate the students that are here and their accomplishments that they had over the winter season. As earlier stated by Dr. Angelosi, I would be recognizing 3 students from the National Merit Scholarship Corporation. And we're very proud here at Marlborough High School to have 3 students for this recognition. And unfortunately, 2 of them were unable to be here tonight, and that is Paige Fedoff and Alan Shankerman. But we do have Christy Lee here. Christy? Side note, Christy Lee will be attending Princeton next fall. Next, as Mr. Simon mentioned earlier, the requirements for the Governor's School of Engineering and Technology. We do have 1 student that will be attending at Rutgers University, and that's our very own Sandeep Balankar.
Yes, sir.
At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Ryden, our Sika.
Mr. Simon talked about the the Eagle Scout Award in Boy Scouting. There is an equal impressive award in Girl Scouting. It's called the Gold Award, and I'd like to call it Crystal Hendricks. Not only did she receive her Gold Award, she is the President's Volunteer Service Award Gold Level. That's the national issued by the President's Council of Service and Civic Participation. She has her Girl Scout Gold Award, the highest award in Girl Scouts. She's the Girl Scout Golden Torch Award for leadership in the secure community, and she won the Service to Girl Scouts Award, which is leadership in Girl Scouts. So her Gold Award. I'll speak on that a little bit. Centered on an issue that is near and dear to her, working with children with special needs. Her project, Special Artist, was an art therapy program that allowed students to come in and express their feelings and release their tension through art. It also gave them a chance to work on their social skills, provided them with a sense of pride in their work. More importantly, this program did not focus on perfecting their art skills, but instead was a no-pressure environment that allowed kids to participate more freely and openly truly enjoy their time with her, the volunteers, and their peers. As a result, the students look forward to coming to class twice a week. They produced beautiful artwork that they were able to take home. It also created a mural that showcased their artistic abilities and is displayed at the Marlborough Recreation Center. The program is so successful that the Marlborough Recreation and other communities have requested that she continues the program. So congratulations. We also had a Fall State Chamber Orchestra. It was Noah Lee. He's a violinist. He is unable to be here today. So I'd like to just give him his recognition. Next, let's call down Priya Agarwal.
Yep.
Priya is getting her award tonight for her participation in DECA, and Priya was took first place at the National State Career Development Conference in Retail Merchandising. Congratulations, Priya. Okay, next I'm going to call up our Rutgers Model Congress team and wait for your names to be called and talk a little about you guys first. This year, Mr. Yang's Rutgers Model Congress team participated in a 4-day government situation with other high schools in New Jersey and beyond. 31 students participated in the congressional committees, the Supreme Court, lobbying groups, current and historical cabinet situation rooms, For the fourth time in 5 years, Marlboro High School's delegation was recognized as one of the top performers with the Best High School Delegation honor, and it was the third time in the last 5 years that Marlboro High School's team has taken first place. I'm just going to start calling your names out to make your way down. Sandeep Alankar, Samara Adams, Paige Bedoff.
Yeah.
John Deutsch, Lydia Dobie, Jeffrey Allentoff, Emily Glazer, Sanjay Godar, Skylar Yeager, Yash Kamdar, Josh Levy, Colleen McCullen, Brian Moon, Oscar Asbe, Ardash Patel, Nancy Patel, Tiago Fons, Priyanka Palal, Shannon Polderak, Noah Schneider, Natasha Sinha, Zach Sperling, India Sun, and Justin Titsis. You ought to get a mess up. Congratulations. Yeah, I'd like to recognize an athlete. I know he's not here. He's actually competing with our We the People competition right now, but Kwaku Ampaza, he won the 55-meter high hurdles, and it was his fourth county title in 2 years. And Kwaku, I believe, is going to the College of New Jersey next year. Next, I'd like to call up Coach Mike Casitas and Mr. PJ Ringel. Talk a little bit about our boys basketball team. This was one of the most successful boys basketball teams that we've had in Marlboro. They were 18-7. They were they beat Randy, which was Randy was a very highly ranked team this year in the short conference. And they beat Randy in the short conference semifinals, which was impressive in its own right. Then they went and played in the finals against Monterey Day Prep. They were beating Monterey Day Prep, and we rotate 6 guys, they rotate 10. We kind of just got really tired and lost to Monterey Day in the finals. Then we went on right off the bat, went and played in the States, and we went to the second round of the States. But it was hands down the best and most exciting basketball seasons that I've been a part of. PJ Ringel was first team All Shore and was the A North Player of the Year. Coach Casitas was the short conference and A North Coach of the Year.
Thank you, folks. We will take a brief 2-minute recess. Please feel free to stay around if you'd like to. But if not, congratulations once again.
One screen up and running, so we'll make the best of that. There's also a handout in the back of the room with some additional detailed information. So this is the public hearing for the fiscal year 2018 budget. There are 599 school districts in the state of New Jersey. 31 of those are high school only districts, of which Freehold Regional is the largest. So by New Jersey standards, with more than 10,000 high school students, we are a significant full-sized school district. And that affords us some economy of scale, which manifests itself in quality and diversity of programs that we offer. I think what we've seen tonight with student accomplishments is evidence of what the programs and families of this real regional community can accomplish. And congratulations to all of those students. The objective of the public hearing on the budget, what my objective here is to give you a meaningful overview of the organization, financial structure of the organization. I think it's also a good opportunity for me to speak to the economic and legislative environment in public education financial operation as it is situated and has been along that continuum of economic and legislative evolution since really 2008. So that's my goal tonight. But first, let me just speak to the scope of the organization. And Scott can move to just the next slide for me. So the single regional footprint is 200 square miles. It overlays 8 municipalities. And it's unique. A regional high school district is unique. As I said, there's only 31 of them in the state. Those 8 municipalities have 7 K-8 school districts that feed into Freehold Regional's 6 high schools. We have 350 acres of campus, 1.6 million square feet of facilities, more than 50 athletic fields, 30 tennis courts. So the scope of the physical facility, the programs, and the overall influence on the regional community is substantial. From a budget perspective, the appropriations for the district total just over $204 million. Now, 96% of that is in what's called a general fund. So structurally, for a school district, things are broken into funds. Funds are self-contained operating entities. With 96% being in the general fund, obviously that's where just about everything that you would think of to be associated with a school district, that's where that is accounted for. I'll touch base on the 2 other funds that make up the remaining percent. The special revenue fund is very targeted, specific state and federal dollars, highly regulated, needs to be separately accounted for, and that is the only source of funds handled in the special revenue fund. The debt service fund is, as you would expect, to pay for referendums issued by the districts in the past, and it's been some time since we've done that. Scott? So let's look at the appropriations and drop back. Okay. I'm not sure why that slide's not fully coming through. But I'll walk you through it. So the appropriations can be broken into 2 general categories: instruction and not instruction. That's how I feel. 60% of the money spent in the general fund is in terms of direct instruction. The remaining categories are all support functions in one regard or another. There is student-related support, and that would be in the health office, guidance office, media center, child study teams, those type of support functions within a school district. There's also the instructional support function, which includes curriculum development, staff training, and those things that equip our teachers to bring the right information to the classroom for direct instruction of our students. And then there's organizational support or administrative supports. That's the main office in the high schools, general administration here in central office, as well as central services, which is finance and human resources, and the overall IT infrastructure. So with 60% being in the area of instruction, those other areas are relatively balanced. The support services together are 12%, administration 8%, and then the final categories would be transportation and facilities. Each of those are approximately 10%. So they're also significant components of the budget. We are progressing in our strategic plan, and as we transition into a different strategic plan, we will have an awareness of the economic and legislative influences that are in front of us. Now, when you look at the handout that you'll see a breakdown of all the expenditures, it's as a standalone document, I think it has limited purpose. You need to really have that in context. So, Scott, you can move to the next slide. The state does have a lot of really good data available that measures, or spending by grade configuration and by size of the district. So they're really trying to make it an apples-to-apples comparison. What you see here is the red line across the top represents the state average for the 31 high school districts in the state. So let's anchor that at 100%. Then we take the following categories. The yellow is Freehold Regional. The blue is the 9 school districts that are the same DFG as us. Now, DFG stands for District Factor Group. That's a socioeconomic measure. So this is, I think, the most important category to look at. I'm sorry, it's the gray one for those 9 districts, because they really are our sibling districts. They're the same grade configuration, the same size, or the same size category, and they are with the same socioeconomic. They're very similar communities, and you would expect the same commitment to education and academic performance of the students in those communities. And finally, the blue is 5 regional high school districts in Monmouth County. But we do have the economy of scale. We are the largest of those 31 districts, and there is validity to that economy of scale perspective. Because of our size, we're able to offer fully comprehensive high schools with magnet programs, learning centers, and academies that allow our students to pursue their passions, or if not participating in one of those, explore different opportunities or different areas within the context of their regular comprehensive high school experience. And that really was the focus of the strategic plan that's in place now. On the revenue side, that's been the spending. So with the spending, now the question is, how is it paid for? And this is really where a lot of the conversation around public education and funding of public education currently is. There are 3 major players here. State aid, property tax, and then fund balance, also known as SERP.
That's frustrating me.
So let me speak to state aid, because this is something that the governor has been very outspoken about as far as what is the proper distribution of state aid. And I know some of the candidates for governor have also taken formal positions on the matter. So I think as we move through this next year, with the election being in November, this is going to be a topic of discussion. So what currently governs the funding for school districts is called the SFRA, or the School Funding Reform Act. It's not a very complicated funding formula. It's pretty straightforward, actually. Here's how it works. The state took a look at what is it that students need, and what are, without regards to money, what are the services and programs that student needs. And they identified specifically how many teachers, how many guidance counselors, for all of the different grade configurations, and they took into consideration the size of the district. They wanted to get a really good feel of, here's what the appropriate resources in terms of supplies, materials, personnel, a school district needs available for the students to get to where they need. Then they took that and they quantified it. Okay, so how much does that cost? That was the second step. It makes perfect sense. I think the current funding formula it's very rational and logical that way. The difficult part, once you quantify that, is, okay, how are you going to pay for that? So what the funding formula does is it takes that initial work and turns it into a cost model. And you can take any school district's demographics and apply it to that cost model to come up with an amount of money that that district would need to provide a thorough and efficient education. That's the spirit of it. How to fund it, the funding formula says it's going to come from one of 2 places. The local community or through state aid, the state of New Jersey. Local community goes first. The formula measures a community's ability to pay for its own education by looking at two wealth indicators, the income of the community and the property value of the community. It then converts that into their ability to pay, and that comes off the top of that single number per district, district-specific number. The difference is what the state is responsible for, and that's called equalization aid. Now, there has been several years of flat state aid. We received flat state aid again this year, and we've received that for the same amount for the last few years. The issue is that the state cannot fully afford its share based on that calculation. And the state of New Jersey has legitimate budget issues, just like local communities do, school districts, and so forth. So they haven't been able to fully fund it. Now, what they've done is to simply give everybody the same, because to do otherwise, there would be winners and losers, and there's a legislative issue there for that. So until things are sorted out at the state level, that's been the approach. But there is a vulnerability to school districts, certainly our school district, should the funding formula kick back into effect. And that is that our community's ability to pay for its own education has grown at a rate much greater than our overall budget has grown. And therefore, the amount of state aid, if the funding formula had been run through those years, the state aid would have gone down. Because it is flat, which they call hold harmless, the difference between what we have gotten and what maybe we should have gotten is called adjustment aid. So if you hear the term adjustment aid in the conversation, that's what they're referring to, is to redistribution of aid, specifically adjustment aid. Now, it's beyond the scope of this conversation, but there are some issues with the funding formula, specifically how the state measures the community's ability to pay for its own education, and I think there's some room for improvement with that. But it's looking forward, it is a vulnerability of Freehold Regional and many other districts that are in the same situation. Let's talk about property tax. So I'm sure many of you have heard about the 2% cap on property tax that's been in effect for several years now. There are some exceptions to that along the way. They're few and they're fairly highly regulated, but there are districts that qualify for that. There's another important provision, and it's called bank cap. And what the state, the rules around budgeting allow is, if you choose to not access all of your tax levy cap in a given year, you can bank it for up to 3 years. So you can set it aside and use it in one of the subsequent years. Now remember, it was eligible to be taken in its original year, and the district decided not to do that if they do bank cap. Included in this budget is a general fund property tax increase of 2.72%. That is more than 2%. And that is because we are accessing $927,000 worth of bank cap. That was available last year. We were in a position where we did not need to do it, so we banked it, and we expected to be accessing it this year, which it has been included in this budget. And finally, fund balance and reserves is another area that school districts are struggling with. This is the third largest component of our revenues. It's also known as surplus, okay, so it's the amount that the district has on hand locally that can put towards budgets. And these amounts are slowly being drained down as each budget comes and goes, because the budgets have less available at the end of any given year to put into those reserves. So that's the third and final player of revenue. So all three of these areas, state aid, we have some area of uncertainty, property taxes, there are limitations on that, and surplus continues to wind down. We look out, we project out years in advance, and the scenario of a relatively flat amount of resources year over year is what our expectation is, and that's with flat state aid. So I think we have our challenges ahead of us in that regard. The property tax allocation among the 8 communities is always something that, and Mr. Lipson, if you could move forward for me one, is something that is a topic of discussion because that impacts us as individual members of the community. And so here's how that works. It looks at the overall value of the 8 communities. It takes a portion of that and assigns it to the Freehold regional tax base. The way they take a portion of it is they simply prorate it based on the number of elementary kids versus high school kids. And when I say they, this formula is dictated by the state. So we follow the allocation method that's required of us. And then it takes a look at that becomes the total regional base, and the allocation is based on a percentage share of that. So as the community's number of students change, that impacts their percentage share of the levy. As their property value changes one way or the other, that impacts their percentage share and therefore their portion of the tax levy. And finally, a community could remain exactly the same, but as the others change, then relative to them, they're positioned differently, and that impacts. Now, this is a very abrupt process. Mr. Lipson, if you could move to the next slide for me. Just to give you a sense of it, here are our 8 communities, and the percentage change in their tax rates year over year. The point of this slide is to show the volatility of how the tax rates can move around from year to year because of the regional allocation method. Lots of ups and lots of downs. I've had conversations with legislators over the years about some possible ways to smooth this out. Maybe you're rolling through your average, or there are some other ideas, but it's just the nature of a regional high school district when you're splitting up the property tax levy among multiple communities, that there needs to be a way to do it, and unfortunately, it's volatility. So with 7 of the 8 communities are up this year, but in the past, that's been up and down depending on your community year over year. So, Mr. Lipson, if you could just move forward. So, as I said, there is a handout in the back, and for the appropriation slide, I think it's important. It's a 1-pager, 2 sides that has some good information on it, and it's also there's also great information on the state's website as far as performance indicators of school districts, spending indicators of school districts. There's lots of different measures there. When we look out at the future and the uncertainty in those 3 primary revenue areas, we will be planning with a range of scenarios in mind. One of the areas that I think is going to deserve our attention regardless of how this plays out is to be able to continue to address our facility needs, as this district has done an excellent job of in the past. But in the future, we're left with one of the final remaining options, which is a referendum. And I think a lot of different school districts are finding themselves in this situation because the other options would be to fund it through an annual budget, which has been relatively flat, or to fund it with facility-related reserves, which are set-aside surpluses. Think of it as a savings account specific to facilities. And those we've made good use of over the years, but we have not been in a position where we've been able to replenish them. So those 2 situations leave us, and it's something that we have raised in public. I know I raised it in this conversation conversation last year about the necessity of a referendum. So we need to finalize our assessment, the state of our facilities, and start bringing that information together to have conversations about what is the scope of work that needs to be done and the process by which we would finance a referendum and then subsequently a bond issue to address those big ticket facility related items. So that's something that I wanted to get across. And some of the other areas to look at I've included in this slide, and we've touched on them as we go. I think that this school district, and those of you who've been here for a while or live in the community are well aware of the quality of the programs and how important that is to us and how precious that is to this community. And that our overall motivation here is to continue that work of our educators and be very aware and cautious and conservative with how we approach the financial operation side of the district. So those are the main messages I wanted to convey to you here tonight. Mrs. Tara, I'll throw it to you as board president. Any comments from members of the board or questions? Okay. Board members, I'll just go move through. Yes, Michael.
On the sheet where you have the cost per pupil relative to the Monmouth State and the ESG.
Yes.
That, you might have said this, does that include K through 8 and high school, all schools?
No, I pulled out the apples to apples group. Where it's from is called the Taxpayer Guide to Education Spending. It comes out annually. The most recent one came out on Thursday, just a few days ago. That is from Thursday's data. So I pulled high school only districts within our enrollment category. Those are just 31. So the question from Ms. Bruno is just around a referendum, the pros and cons of a referendum. There are some things that just aren't built to be able to handle in an annual budget. And you can parallel that to your home as well. Some things you finance, your mortgage, for example. We're not building any new schools, but there are things of that scale that we're talking about. What the district was able to do in the past, and I'm talking a number of years ago, before some of the laws that are in effect came into effect, was to allocate a certain level of financial effort in every budget. And that would handle the roofs that were coming due, or would refurbish, 10 classrooms per school, or take care of a lot of those things within each annual school budget. That's why Freehold Regional hasn't had a referendum since, I believe, 2001. I think school districts have referendum more frequently than that, but we were able to do that for many years. Unfortunately, economically, that's no longer an option. And without that option, referendum starts to become more critical.
We did do a referendum for a project, and it was defeated. Does that then preclude you from undertaking that project either in that budget cycle?
So the question for those who didn't hear, Ms. Fankhauser asked that if you have a referendum and it's defeated, where does the district go from there? Does that mean you're not permitted to do those? And no, it does not mean that. What you may be thinking of is if a second question appears on the ballot in an annual school budget, and that second question is defeated by the voters, then whatever you had identified, if that's paid for, you cannot do. So it's an all or nothing on that. But referendum, there is no, the direction would be to revamp it, get out in the community and put it out, understand why and put it out again.
And just to follow up on the investment aid, you said that we've not been getting what we should have been getting, which is probably lower.
Yeah.
And so So if we end up getting what we should be getting, that would increase that gap. So do you have an idea, is there any way of telling when that could get?
Well, you know, it's there's not enough information available right now from the state to make an absolute determination on what is our entitlement to state aid per the formula, because they really haven't run the formula. They have not updated the cost model to what it should be. The enrollment numbers are, as far as I know, they're not using the current enrollment numbers, and finally the variables that translate those two wealth indicators into a community's ability to pay, they're also unsupported. So really, in order to determine the amount of state aid we should be getting, the first question would be, well, what is the accurate amount of the community, what the community is able to afford? Without being able to answer that question, I can't answer the question about state aid. There's just not enough information out there. I will say, though, our enrollment has been declining in recent years at 1% to 1.5% a year. That's obviously going to have an impact on in the funding formula on state aid eligibility.
We don't think that's something that, if it comes to fruition, that they're just unopposed.
So
they might use some heads up, some planning.
Yeah, so the question is, in the event the funding formula is either revamped or fully run, and that results in us losing a significant portion of state aid. You know, the state has traditionally, in this kind of scenario, phased in and phased out, phased both ways. There was several years ago, still under the current funding formula, where we were entitled to a significant more additional state aid, and they gave us 20%. They said we'll phase it in over 5 years. And since then, the funding formula is frozen, and we've never really continued down that path. So, Mr. Bruno asks, will we ever be forced to do one? I think when it comes to health and safety items, those are things that must be addressed. And it is going to be a matter of difficult decisions in one regard or another. You know, referendum are a difficult decision. But health and safety are things that you cannot compromise on. So I don't think anybody would need to force us to handle that. We're just not going to have facilities that are not safe.
And there's some sort of appeal process that they would recommend to use or something to kind of deny that.
So the question is, if a referendum is defeated, is there an appeal process? There is no there is a process if it were to fail 3 times in a row. I think
3 years.
3 and 5 years. You know, I like to think we will not find ourselves in that situation.
Okay, that's what I thought. I didn't quite understand.
There's no procedure in place for like emerging situations like that.
No. But while we're talking about that, there has periodically been funding available through the state for facility projects. Whether or not that will present itself in the next state budget is yet to be seen, because it's not finalized yet. I can tell you it's not a certainty that it would be in every state budget. Like I said, it periodically becomes available. So it would be something that we would certainly keep our eyes on as we start to develop a program for a referendum. My neck's getting sore. Look in one direction. Any other questions from members of the board, members of the public? Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Boyd, and I do appreciate all the wonderful job you and the board and the team doing. But I'm 80 years old, and thank you for sending this spreadsheet to me. One of the things that I didn't put up here, and it's a problem we have is general, everybody's out of money, is that based on 2014 to 2015, the percentage of salary against the student cost is 27.47%. And that's based on our own figures. If we added on the state pays for the benefits, actually then each student cost is going to be $18,585. So actually, I calculated the benefit cost besides local portion and the state portion is actually 47.9 of the 18,000, or it's a 66% of the 13,000. So with this figure, and I understand that we have a contract negotiation on the 15th, and that's why we had a big jump on that in terms of percentage of benefit. It goes to 11% from 2.91 the previous year to 11%, even though the student enrollment goes down 1.61. And for this, like you said, the student enrollment goes down 1.1. But in terms of the local share of the damage percentage, go from 2014 to 27.47 to 29.28, and to 2016 to 31.38, which is original suggested. And then the actual was a little bit lower, is 31.05. For this year, it's suggested 31.33% of the per student cost is actually paying for towards benefit. By adding the state, which they don't have it on the state yet, then it's even higher percentage. And the whole issue that you have with the original 2% cap is the exception of the benefit pension.
Okay? Okay, that means with a number of things to...
Yes, but the reason why I'm trying to bring it here is that you're talking about whether the state can increase or not. And I'm saying is a lot of times if you don't look at the big picture, we keep on looking at our own individuals, state aid. And I just think it's not just state, local, federal, we're all out of money when we take that. Okay? And if I look at in terms of the spending priority from New Jersey versus what the federal and even state local combined, when New Jersey state pays for health, education 24.9%, Medicaid is 20.4%, transportation, which we all suffer, is 10%, higher education 7.9%, or the other IRA mandate for the pension benefit, whatever, 32.9%. Okay? In terms of Medicare spending, we basically are paying for the long-term care for a lot of Medicare, Medicaid, not Medicare. Okay, Medicaid will pay for a lot of long-term care where we have to manage and figure out our long-term care. In terms of the New Jersey debt itself,
So,
what I'm trying to get at is that currently everyone is trying to solve a problem, but we keep on looking at the taxing side. We don't look at the spending side. And I understand the difficulty we are faced here, but I want to bring it up is that if you look at the old way is that the reason why we're local managing our own school is because parents are responsible for paying our own tuition depending on the kids. Why not everything is sharing the cost? Right? So I understand parents always want the best, whatever, for the kids. But in reality, when everyone thinks it's free, then it's unlimited. It's not just education, it's everything. Okay? So right now, we're in a situation is that the actual negotiation with the teacher based on parents' affordability is out of our control. It's on the contractual one, which I'm just by looking on the map, I'm looking at it for this year, right? In terms of the student cost increase is 1.09% from previous year, but look at in terms of the benefit, the salary increase 4.56%. And you have to guess either less than the support service goal, because those are where we see a decrease on the salary and the total support service, and also the operation and maintenance and the salary benefit as a decrease, whereas the salary and benefit is 4.56%. If I just do the simple math without looking at all the stuff, is within what? Another 10, 15 years, it's going to be double. Okay? Now, we know that right now, that road is trying to figure out how to solve our tax problem, but they don't look at our spending problem.
Amy, I need to
No,
sort
but what I'm
of stop
trying-
that. I understand what you're saying, and I
that's
hear that you're looking at a larger global picture.
Yeah,
Some of the important points that I think that you made, and it's you know, just for the information of the community, is that FICA, Social Security costs, and pension costs associated with professional staff within the TPA Act, which is the primary pension, that's picked up by the state, and it's not included in our budget because we do not pay that directly. It's also the cost of retirees is something that's not included on our budget. It's part of the state budget overall.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to educate, share with people in terms of what I found, because we know that the teacher salary is 7 point whatever education month. So in order to really compare, is that you annualize it and and so I actually analyze it based on the mean teacher salary, administrative, whatever, and
I think that there's a more appropriate forum for that, where there may be opportunity for meaningful exchange, and you know, I hear what you're saying. I quite frankly do not agree with you. I think that profession is largely under-recognized of the work that they do, and that's in my opinion, and I'm a finance guy, I'm not a teacher, so I'm not in that profession myself. I'm an outsider, if you will, in that profession. So while I do absolutely respect your comments in that regard, I don't feel that this is the appropriate forum for them. And some of the other, and we've, Amy is from Freehold Township, so we just, normally people, their name and their address is something that we do, and it's at a microphone. So I think people are having trouble hearing you, Amy, and I appreciate your comments and your thinking, and we can, of course, continue to get together and discuss it if you wish.
I actually would like to, because I think it's a general...
Yeah, listen, let's do that. I'll be happy to sit with you and have that conversation. But right now, I'm going to open it up to anybody else in the audience who may have comments on this annual operating budget for the Freehold Regional High School District. That's the topic, and that's where the board needs to take action and have their focus for tonight's meeting.
But I just want to add on the stuff, the difficulty we all going to be facing with. We know that Macy's, JCPenney, Sears, they are all closing down retail stores, and I don't know what's the impact on Freehold Township, but I'm just looking at in terms of what the tax reform they're thinking about. Okay, there's GOP proposal.
Okay, I'm sorry, but we are in the middle of an action meeting, and like I said, let's get our schedules coordinated, and you and I can sit down and have that conversation. And I'd be happy to do that. I think there's some interesting thoughts. From the rest of the audience, any other comments regarding the fiscal year 2018 budget?
Thank you, Mr. Watson.
Mr. Boyce, as always, thank you for being able to distill, I think, some very complex topics into digestible processes for everybody to be able to sort of really clearly understand where Freehold Regional sort of sits in comparable districts. I think that, as I said earlier, that, you know, the long-term financial planning is something that we take very, very seriously in the school system. I do think that the SFRA and whatever funding formula the state comes up with, I hope that the legislators and the incoming governor, whomever that might be, take a really close look at the nuances of the funding formula to ensure that it does not become a system of haves and have-nots, and that you do not have to take from District A to fund District B, but there are ways to figure out some of these other things, and there's some real quick fixes in the existing SFRA that I think could make that happen. So thank you for putting together a very comprehensive presentation, and I think the handouts to illuminate some of the points, your talking points are fantastic. A few other just notes before we move on. We put out notices about our lead testing in our 6 high schools over the past couple of weeks. If you remember, that was a requirement from the state to make sure that all school districts had done that prior to, I think it was June 1st, or June 30th this year? In the summer sometime. And we've engaged in that process in our 6 high schools, and 3 of our high schools, Howell, Colts Neck, and Freehold High School, have had 0 issues. In our other 3 high schools, Manalapan, in Marlboro, and in Freehold Township, we have some isolated areas like spigots and I think some of the washing areas that are going through the second round of testing. Oftentimes what happens with some of these materials is if they haven't been turned on in a while, which is the case in some of these issues, they have to be retested. So we're awaiting the results of the second round test for a few isolated spots in those 3 buildings. We're talking a couple older water fountains, a sink that was no longer being used anyway, a few other isolated areas. So we feel very, very comfortable about where we are with our lead testing. Anything that had to be retested was immediately shut down if it was not already shut down, and we post those results to our website, and once we get the second round, they should be posted in the remaining 3 buildings. And that, the student recognition and the budget presentation concludes my report. It was a 6-hour tour. We do have board reports.
Okay, on April 19th, we had a curriculum committee meeting. We started off going over the Learning Center and Academy reports. The annual report showed that there was really no change in the number of students applying to the programs. 56% of the students who took the test got accepted or were put on a waiting list. Science and engineering, law and public service, and medical sciences were the most competitive programs this year. Those are the ones that seat fewer than 20% of the applicants. And we also saw data that examined the success rates for each of the towns in the district. And we also received a report that examined each town and which tests were taken, the success rates, and which programs those students are going to attend. And then we also went over data on how many students from our towns are going to the Monmouth County vocational schools. There's signs that Monmouth County is actually taking more of our students, which isn't very surprising. And that's just my opinion. That wasn't said by anybody in the administration. Then moving on, there was an update on the Summer Academy enrollment. Of course, we have AP Bridge and Original Credit classes. Registration for those ends at the end of May. The last couple of meetings, when given this report, we've talked about the computer science grant that Freehold Borough got. All of the $80,000 in year one was spent. The second year grants for $91,000 plus. There's 20 students enrolled for next year, and the teachers are gearing up with some significant professional development. And there's also going to be a summer bridge program that'll be for just one day. And then we wrapped up the meeting just talking about some New Jersey standards. When Chris Christie was running for president, I think he claimed he got rid of Common Core, but really if you look at it, the standards did not change too much. But we went over the fact that even though the standards really didn't change, the teachers actually do have to make some changes in how they cite the standards in their lesson plans, and we saw how that process is going to move ahead. And that's it.
Policy?
Yeah.
Board of Local Policy?
Yes, that's me. We met also on April 19th. We had 3 citizens from the community and 3 administrators on that committee, and myself. And a couple of changes. This is the first read. Minor changes, including updating the name of the New Jersey Division of Family Services, DIPUS, and the New Jersey Core Curriculum Content Standards. Independent study programs are no longer required as a policy. 5460, high school graduation indicates that a high school graduation requirement may be met in the whole or part through individualized learning opportunities, including independent studies. Unsafe schools, required revisions per the new Elementary and Secondary Education Act, reauthorized under Every Student Succeeds, 2015. Gifted and Talented, updated to better align with the language in NJAC. The policy guide revisions are very minor. Students Assessment, New Jersey Administrative Code, implementation of the state assessment system has been updated, required by revisions to the policy 2622. This updated policy is part of the term Core Curriculum Content Standards. It has been replaced now with New Jersey State Learning Standards. Physical examinations for employees. This code updates requires changes and now requiring a physical exam for candidates for employment who have received a conditional offer of employment. Physical examination mandated code updates require changes requiring a physical exam. The education of the homeless child. Recent updates by the New Jersey Department of Education has the phrase waiting foster care placement. This is now deleted from the definition of homeless. High school graduation requirement. New Jersey Administrative Code. The implementation of graduation requirements has been updated, requiring revisions to policy 5460, high school graduation. This update is one of the first administrative code updates with the term Core Curriculum Standards. Early graduation, administrative code requiring the assurance of a diploma to a student who meets the requirements outlined in policy 5465 and has been updated and incorporated into section F, policy 5460. This is a second read. The insurance that the district will accompany to special education policies and requirements. Again, this is a second read, statement of insurance. The Freehold Regional High School District assures compliance with Part B of the Individual with Disabilities Act and the New Jersey Administrative Code. Furthermore, the board will have the plans and the procedures in effect to ensure the following. All pupils with disabilities who are in the need of special education, regardless of the severity of their disability. Homeless pupils are located and identified and evaluated according to NJAC. Pupils with disabilities are evaluated according to NJAC. An individual education program is developed, reviewed, and revised according to NJAC. Last but not least, this is also a second read, surrogate parents and foster parents. The federal state require the Board of Education to ensure the rights of every pupil protected through this provision of an individual to act as a surrogate for parents and assume all parental needs and requirements under NJAC. Thank you.
And just one note on that, the park policy, so it's the graduation requirements around park testing. That's I think the third time that policy has been revised since June of 2015. Obviously, that might be, we're required to adopt that policy. That would be the one that some folks in our community might certainly take umbrage with.
So with regard to the agenda, I have some addendum. Oh, I'm sorry, I should take care of that first.
Vote on the annual school budget. Have a motion?
Motion.
Second. Second?
Let's have a second.
Roll call. Any comments?
Yes, I have a comment. Basically, the reason I'm voting yes on this basically is because really due to a couple of things that have just been in the newspaper over the last week. Because I really think that at least me personally, when you run for the Board of Ed, you want the balance between providing the best education, but also representing the taxpayers. And I think this budget does that. And essentially, I think it's been proven by what's been out in the media in the last week. Because just today, I believe, on NJ.com or in the Newark Star Ledger, it talked about the average cost of educating a child in New Jersey. It's not exactly apples to apples because the NJ.com data includes pension expenses. But the bottom line is, if you look at in the state of New Jersey spends $20,385 per student last school year, and this district spent $19,340. So we're below the state average in terms of how we spend, but we get better than average in outcomes. Because 1 week ago, also I believe on NJ.com, or it might have been Gannett News, they had the results for the SAT. And this high school in particular came in 33rd ranked in the state of New Jersey, but that's 33rd against all these vocational schools all around the state that get to pick the cream of the crop. So actually that number 33 rank is much higher in my view if you're looking at public high school. So the proof is that the outcomes are above average, well above average relative to other public school districts in this state, and we're doing it at a lower cost. So that's really the foundation of why I'm voting yes on this budget, and I do focus on the ultimate cost to the taxpayer. Basically what it comes down to in Marlboro is that someone who lives in a middle-class house is going to have to spend $61 extra in this budget on their taxes. And, I also like that with our student population declining, we're really keeping a tight lid on spending relative to other districts that can't spend enough money with declining student enrollment. I mean, anyone who's taken a tour of the facilities of this district knows there's no luxury items here. And so I think that really signifies the type of tight-fisted fiscal culture that the administration here is running with. And I think the taxpayers, definitely appreciate that, even though the taxes are going up, $61 a year, at least there's good financial stewards of this district.
Any other comments? Roll call.
Mr. Acetola?
Yes.
Mrs. Canario?
Yes.
Mrs. Fankhauser?
Yes.
Mrs. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Messenger?
Yes.
Mr. Corolla?
Yes.
Mr. Moses?
Yes.
administration. We have some addendums to the agenda.
Yeah, so there's identity out on the table. It includes modifications to G1, G2, G8, and the addition of G16, approval of medical examination. In addition to that, we have G17 that, and I'll read it into the record. Be it resolved that the Freehold Regional High School District Board of Education approve, upon recommendation of the superintendent, the separation agreement on file in the personnel department for employee number 9397. We also have G18, which I will read. Be it resolved that the Freehold Regional High School District Board of Education approve, upon recommendation of the superintendent, the agreement on file in the personnel department for employee number 5411. And finally, I4, which is a new resolution that reads, approval of change order with Flanagan's Construction Contracting Group Incorporated for project FRHSD 4603B, track rehabilitation at Manalapan High School. Be resolved that the Freehold Regional High School District Board of Education approve a change order with Flanagan's Contracting Group Incorporated for project FRHSD 4603B, track rehabilitation at Manalapan High School in the amount of $50,767.97 for additional work associated with the track subbase and inlet, and that's I4.
Mr. Toscano, just before the agenda goes, any particular exclusions need to be noted from the board?
Right, just basically a first and second. Go from there.
Okay, I'd like to take, G1 to K4, whole plus the yellow addendums of G1, G2, G8, and G16, G17, G18, and I4.
Okay, I have to abstain.
No, we need a motion first.
Okay.
Motion. Second.
Any questions? Comments?
Okay. Thank you. I have to abstain G4, Jeanette Bruno, Sean Boylan, and Dr. Nicole Hazel. And K, under administration, Jeanette Bruno, professional conferences and workshops.
What was the second?
K, administration workshops.
Roll call. Any other comments?
Mr. Asatola?
Yes to all except as it pertains to G4, no to Ms. Evangelista.
Mrs. Canario?
Yes to all except for G4, no to Ms. Evangelista.
Mrs. Fankhauser?
Yes.
Mrs. Lavin?
Yes.
Mr. Messinger?
I'm voting yes for everything with the exception of no on G4, Assistant Superintendent of Business, Chief Academic Officer, and Director. The employees that are listed? Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, could you list the titles, please? Is there titles associated with?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just listed the titles there. See what I highlighted there?
Okay, so.
Well, no, not the first one. That's a mistake. The first one that starts with,
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
You gotta read, just so it's clear, you have to read it.
So the position.
Will you do this one? Sure. Okay, just for point of clarity, positions are Assistant Superintendent for Business, Chief Academic Officer, Director. There are three. The names Donna Evangelista, Shia Hal, Chen Sharp. Okay.
Mr. Corolla?
Yes.
Mr. Moses?
Yes to everything except for pertaining to G4, no to Donna Evangelista.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mrs. Sutera?
Yes, except for G4, Donna Evangelista.
So, of course, you check my math. With counting and the weighted votes, all motions passed with the exception of G4 as pertains to Donna Evangelista, which fails by a vote of 3.9 in favor, 5.1 against.
Old business? Anyone? No? New business?
So just a few congratulatory remarks tonight. So first off, I'd like to publicly thank the board for their faith in me in moving around an awful lot of pieces over the past couple of weeks, a few minor moves to come, but you know, we have an awful lot of work ahead of us, and I think that we have an exceptional team here from which to do that work, and I'm really, really proud over the past 5.5, 6 years that we have really been growing our own folks who are ascending in their administrative careers, and I think when you have the opportunity to sort of look into a number of folks who are ascending and moving on and pushing the envelope and making things better, and you have opportunities to promote those individuals as a result of their good work, that everybody wins. So I told them there's a number of candidates here tonight, and I'm just going to ask them one by one, and I'll recognize them. I told them, yeah, we'll be ready to roll at about 7:30. So Melissa, I think your husband's been squirming for about an hour there. So a couple folks I'd like to recognize. First, Helen Ide, if you could stand up, Helen, see back there. So Helen is being promoted to a supervisor of special education position. Helen's been with us since 2001, I think. Incredibly involved in the workplace training program over at Freehold Township, which has been a phenomenally successful program for us. And you know, Helen has been knocking on the door for an opportunity, and she stepped through the door of this process. So congratulations. John Hine, where's John? John was a classroom instructor at Howell High School. Had the good sense to take a graduate program with a phenomenal professor, and found himself as the SECA of Manalapan High School. Has done an excellent job there. And so John is being promoted tonight to the position of assistant principal, and he'll be handling Ray's Academy in addition to that. Melissa Venuto. So Melissa came to us from Toms River. When I first had the opportunity to hire Melissa as a supervisor of English, and she also supervises physical education, we had like a 3 or 4 month lag between hirings. By the time I called her back, she was fully pregnant and ready to roll, but promised me that she would be right back, and darned if she wasn't. So Melissa's done a terrific job as a supervisor for us at Manalapan. She'll be remaining at Manalapan as an assistant principal, so congratulations, Melissa. Dr. Teresa Taylor. Dr. Taylor is currently the special education supervisor here at Marlboro High School. Teresa came to us from Monroe, where if you've ever seen a joint job title of sort of school psychologist, data collection, overseer, Teresa did it all over there, and she's done a phenomenal job here at Marlboro for us. She has a extensive background in special education, and I feel very confident in her in moving into an incredibly demanding position, particularly here at the Freehold Regional High School District, is we only have that 4-year window and onboard a number of our neediest students in a very short period of time, and have to really make wonderful things happen for those children. And I think Teresa is the person for the job. So congratulations, Dr. Taylor. And then Dr. Donahue. Brian is currently the assistant principal at Colts Neck High School. Prior to that, he had been the SECA at Freehold Township High School, and prior to that, a teacher at Freehold High School. So he spent his entire career here in the regional. You know, Brian, over the past couple of years, has, a few years ago when we were making some moves at Manalapan High School, you know, Brian had about, a very short notice that he was being sent to Manalapan High School from Colts Neck High School. Went over there and did a phenomenal job at Manalapan, and then was informed that he was being sent back to Colts Neck High School. And Brian, through all that, has done an excellent job. His work around the PLC and staff development that we've done in the district has been superb, and I think he will be an excellent candidate to lead Colts Neck High School into the future. So congratulations to all of you. I think I got everybody.
That's it? Okay. Motion to adjourn?